structure called this move perfectly, and I'll show you exactly how to read it yourself. We're going to walk through on a price chart on gold. I'm going to show you how to read the structure, the smart money structure we apply. I'm going to show you how to use it with the use of multiple time frames to find an entry, understanding your structure. So we're going to look at a 4-hour time frame here, and we'll look to take an entry on a 30-minute. We're looking at using a 2 time frame approach. Now, of course, if you still want more clarity when it comes to structure, you're still struggling, you want a full plan, then do check out the 90-day profit trading system. You can learn more of that. The link's below in the description of this video. So let's follow the actual structure itself. To understand the structure, I'll leave a video at the end of this video. It goes through understanding how to read this structure step by step. So if you are stuck, watch that video coming up next. So I'm going to go through and show you where this structure is moving. I'll mark it off so you can see this is classed as a break of structure. That means a BOS in the market. We validate this when we see a body candle closing through. Now, when we see this, I have a valid high I can mark up here. What this creates is a bullish break of structure. So we've gone from a bearish move, pullback, continuation, now to a bullish move higher. And we start to read what's happening with price. Now we have a new level, whereas a previous high, we get a close through. We just close through. And if you're not fully sure, we just zoom into candles like this, and you can see where the body closes through to the upside. It's all about that body candle close. And yes, my candlesticks are in reverse. You're going to see that I use black for bullish and the dark gray for bearish. That's where I like to see my candles. Not the other way around, where many like to use the lighter color. I like to use a darker color for my bullish candles here. So when we see now we're in a bullish bias, I look back, this is my low, and we get a bearish move. I want to show you how I'm reading this structure. Now, the reason why this is going to be in clarity for you, because if we just zoom out on this chart, you're going to see that on a current move, just show you this move to the upside here, is a daily move. And potentially what I'm looking for is price to continue up to this daily area. But while we're doing that and we're watching how price moves sideways, we can start to read it. So we can start to look for potential trades. And let me just go into this area again. So we can see we went from a bearish to a bullish bias. Now we're going back to a bearish bias again. So we can mark off this lowest point, another break bearish. So we're starting to read where the market is heading. We have another pullback, we have a sweep of this high, and we have another push bearish. So all points to bearish at the moment, but what I'm waiting for is price to potentially shift bullish again. That then aligns it with the higher time frame. I can start looking to buy. But this isn't about looking for buy on the 4 hour. It's about understanding when we are bullish again, like we saw here. Once we saw this moving bullish here, I have this candle that I can mark out. This becomes a potential area price to pull back into. Now, it didn't come into that zone. That's because we had a retest continuation and we needed just to bring this up higher, and that's where we actually react off. So this is more of an internal pullback. It is swing structure, but it's showing me that internal pullback from where we had the push away, pullback to an entry to head higher here. That's what I'm actually looking at. So now let's look where price breaks again back bullish right here. So now we've gone back bullish again with our structure. Now I'm going to show you how you can read what's happening. Now once we see this, we have this last push down before the break. This gives me a new area or potential area of demand where I'll look for price to come back into for continuation. So now we're reading structure with the higher time frame phase again. We're seeing that this is our move up, our pullback. We went up, we've started coming bearish, and now we're starting to see that bullish move, and we're starting to see demand in control. So what I'm looking for next is for this to make that pullback. How do I do this? Well, we go up to a 30-minute time frame, and what I'm now going to show you is we're reading the structure on a 30 minutes. It's like reading the lower time frames to find when we see that reversal. Now we can mark this off as a valid break to the upside. Let's mark this off as a 30-minute break down here. Now we're looking for a valid high to be created. So let's just fast forward this area of price, and now we get a valid high. So we have a new high created here. So we're either looking for continuation or pullback. So we say price and we break structure again. So we're still bullish. So I mark this off as a bullish break structure. So for a bearish break structure, we've got to see this level being run. We don't have a valid high yet. This is how we can start to read the structure. We come back and do we break again to the upside? This is my previous high because we started to pull down and we have another break to the upside. And that's how we start to read that structure. Now our valid low becomes here. We have a valid high as well that we mark out here. That's reading your trading range. Let's continue with this price. Do we continue higher or reverse? Now we've actually reversed structure here. So this is a valid break to downside. That's the first time we have seen price shifting bearish. Where do you think it's potentially going? We could now potentially be running towards this area of demand on a higher time frame. So that tells me I'm looking for price to come back here for a buy to go long, but I'm also potentially looking for a sell trade. Now I can mark off this as my last area to downside. After I saw this break of structure, this becomes my valid high in the market. That's where I've got the area of supply. So I'm reading the market here. So what I can actually do, I can look to sell from this zone and I can look for a push to this low. That's how I can read this. So let's just go forward, and that's reading 2 time frames of structure. So we started to get the pullback phase. This closes up. This gives me a valid low. Grab another level. That means it gives me a valid first target. So if I'm selling here, I can actually look to take a trade to run to this low and then hold for this here of demand. It's counter trend trades. So it's always best to take your risk off. On top of that, I can tell you right now that I can see a level here in the market that creates an area of liquidity, which tells me it's an even better trade to sell from this area. Let's just push forward with this price. You can see exactly how this structure told me exactly what was happening ahead of time. Look, when using no indicators here, just per smart money structure on the chart that I teach in this channel. So let's continue with this movement. We're looking for a run to enter. So we failed to actually run this low. We didn't take it. It brought in some more sellers to then push price higher. Now we've been triggered into our sell trade, looking for this to run for this low. That's what I'll be looking for. Now, potentially what we're looking for is a reaction here to show us that price isn't continue higher. So we've dropped out. We've come back up. We've dropped out again. It's showing me a reaction. That's what we're looking for. So I'm looking for this to continue to run to my target. Let's see if we can do this. And we've pushed up one more time, swept the high. Now it's looking good. We've got actually now a sweep of some highs. We have some previous highs here. Liquidity sits above those highs. We've just swept it with that candle. That suggests a potential drop. So just reading these candles on this time frame shows me what is happening on potentially a 15-minute chart. So on a 15-minute chart, I can see price potentially doing this. And we've pushed up, and now potentially we could see this happening. So what it's showing me is structure, even on a lower time frame with this section, that we're seeing these highs being taken and a new structure shift to downside could occur. So let's see if we do drop off. That's just reading the candles. And we drop off. And in fact, we actually run and we hit our first target. So we're out. This is a simple set of get entry trade. We've just taken profit at this point in the chart. So we're out with a 2 risk to reward profit there. Now we'll be holding the remaining position to run for this low. And that's it. Structure is telling me this. It showed me the shift in structure. It showed me the shift bullish back in line with that higher time frame phase. We already saw the shift out here on a 4-hour. We actually shifted. We made the pullback into this area, shifted back out bullish. We were looking for buys. So what could we do next? We could potentially look here for a buy, and we could just use another set and forget entry style. Okay, only 2-hour trade there if it does work. Let's just see what happens. Let's see if we do run lower. So we do. We run lower, full targets being achieved, and we've entered also our buy trade. So not only have we just taken a sell trade, reading a structure which showed us ahead of time, structure showed us how to find those trades. We're now seeing that we're coming out of an era to buy on a higher time frame. So this level here is my potential target at the high. Okay, the risk reward isn't great, but we can also look down here, lower time frame entry, but just follow price, see what happens. So we're moving sideways and we started to move away. So what can I start to see here? I could start to read my internal structure. We create this low, we pull back, we have an internal break higher here. So let me make this as an internal breaker structure. Pull back, a new breaker structure. So at this point in time, I could have taken a trade here. I could be in a trade, understanding what's happening. I could have taken this as a buy potentially. And this would give me a higher risk to reward. And I've already now broken structure and potentially watching to see if price comes back to the new area that we've got marked here. Potentially we could see price now come back into full zone here. And we could see a continuation higher from there. Let's just follow price from here. So look at this. We ran down first and we swept. Okay, let's take it out. We swept this low where we had this first entry. Now we had a break structure here. If we took this, we'd be risk-free, okay, and the market would have taken us out for a loss. But we would still be a break-even trade on that one and potentially even took some profit on the table. So this trade has failed. It's been a break-even trade. But if you've took this main trade off an area here, went straight up and hit the full target. The reason that worked is because we were watching this as an area to take a buy from. Because of that continuation we saw on a 4-hour structure. Structure again showed us the direction. We knew we were potentially looking for buy here to continue higher. And when we went down to lower time frame, we saw structure again showing us that direction for potential sell to run for this low and into that area for buy. And that is how you combine multiple time frames. And that is how structure will always show you the way for taking a trade. And that's why it matters to have the clarity, to have a foundation of reading structure in this way. Check out this video coming up next. It's going to help you to read the structure itself, step-by-step process. So if you are struggling with structure, make sure you watch this right now.